Well, Razorback fans, we're finally here. It is about to be game time for the Razorbacks against the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Can they actually pull off the win? Well, guess we'll wait and see. But we're going to talk about it anyways on today's Locked On Razorbacks podcast.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome into the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. I am your host, John Neighbors. I am also the host of Inside Arkansas Live, which you can catch every weekday starting at noon on Inside Arkansas and InsideArkansas.com. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Friday. You've made it, right? Party it up. Getting to the weekend. Should be a beautiful one. As we'll talk a little basketball here in a bit because Arkansas and Kansas are going to be taking on each other tonight in an exhibition that will absolutely count, only if they win. And we'll also look in a little bit to the SEC and some of the games that are going to be going on of note here this weekend. But, you know, when I started thinking about what I was going to talk about today from this Arkansas-Mississippi State game, this is the first time of the football season, I'll admit, where I feel like I have talked about each and everything I possibly can going into a matchup this week. I've gone into the offense, I've gone to the defense, I've gone to the special teams, I've gone into the coaching, I've gone into the impact, I've gone into why I hate Mississippi State. Like I've gone every single direction I can to look into this game and to break it down and to try to decide, all right, who am I going to pick? What am I going to look at? All that good stuff. Well, now it's become time to face the reality of the situation Arkansas is in. I don't think I'm being over the top when I say that Arkansas has to win this game. Sam Pittman has to win this game. And the type of impact that'll happen if they don't will be tremendously negative. Like it will be a bad thing. We all understand that at this point in time. That's the situation that they're in. So what's the discussion then? Well, to me, in this particular game, and looking back over the past 10 to 15 years, roughly, of Razorback football, it's incredible to me to look back on the games that should have been Arkansas dominating, should have been Arkansas taking care of business, should have been Arkansas winning going away, but it never goes that way and hasn't. I can't tell you how many times I've looked at these games, not even just against Mississippi State, but in general, of times when Arkansas went on the road as a favorite and lost. It's happened way too often. And I know it's hard to win in the SEC. I get that. I'm not hating on anything because let's be honest. I mean, the way that Arkansas played when they played Auburn and won, it wasn't great, but it was a win. And so you have to just count that as great because at the end of the season, no one is going to look back on that Auburn game and be like, yeah, that was a nice win, but Arkansas didn't play very well. It's just about getting the W. It's just about winning. And that's what I am going to have to constantly remind myself about this game. If Arkansas goes in there and wins by a point, they blew a lead. Say they were up 21-0, and they ended up winning 21-20. And the only reason that Arkansas was able to hold on to a victory is that Mississippi State lined up for a field goal of 50 yards, and they doinked it off the upright. Just getting by the skin of your teeth. Is that type of game and that type of win going to make you feel better going into the Ole Miss game next week? No, it's not. In fact, it's probably going to make you feel worse. It's going to make you feel worse. But if you went into Mississippi State and you were able to take care of business convincingly, win this game by a final score of 45-20, something like that, and your offense looked better, your defense looked solid, the game was never really in doubt, you didn't turn the ball over, you didn't make a lot of mistakes, you dominated. Next week against Ole Miss, going in and that week, are you going to feel better and more confident about beating Ole Miss? Yeah. I would think you would. Because then at that point in time, you're going to be sitting at 3-2 in SEC play, which I mean, who's not signing up for 3 SEC wins with 3 games to go in the schedule? And your 2 losses being against the only 2 teams that are undefeated, which that'll change this weekend since they play each other. But who wouldn't sign up for that, and who wouldn't be content where Arkansas is right now? You as a fan, too. Because that's going to put you at 5-3 with 4 games left and in a good position. Not to say you'll go undefeated the rest of the way, but you'll be in a good position. You'll feel more confident. But the point is that at the end of the season, though, when you look back and you reflect on the season, whether it's considered a success or whether it's considered a failure, but let's just say for the sake of variety and argument's sake, that it ends up being a successful season. 7-5, 8-4. Kind of what everybody would expect, but a really great year overall. If that were to happen, which 8-4, I mean, goodness, that means you lose only 1 more. Be a lot, but still, we'll just, for the sake of arguments, you're going to look back on the season and you're only going to see wins. That it doesn't matter what the score was. It doesn't matter how you looked. It didn't matter how much of a lead you blew. None of that matters. The only thing that will matter is that you won. And so that is all I am going to be asking of Arkansas. Sure, we'll break down the good and the bad. We'll break down the problems. We'll break down the issues and can they be fixed and who's getting banged up and who will be available. Like, we'll do all those breakdowns specifically. But as far as the mood and as far as the vibe, I'm going to be okay with winning no matter the score at the end of the day, because it's a win. And Arkansas hasn't done very many of those here over the past decade. Just being honest. But if you lose, it's going to be detrimental. We all know that. It's going to be bad. It's going to put everything in a bind, and it's going to change the entire landscape, and it's going to go from bad to much worse for Sam Pittman, for this team, it's not even a scenario that I really want to look into, because this is that level of importance of a game. But it's about the winning. It's about going in there and taking care of business. And people ask me, why are you concerned? I had somebody ask me this when I was on a radio show in Mississippi, because I told them exactly what I just told you. And they're like, why are you concerned about this game? Why do you think Arkansas could lose? Which, yeah, they could, but like, it seems like Arkansas matches up fairly well and should have success against Mississippi State. Why are you worried? My response was like, because I'm a Razorback fan. It makes us nervous, doesn't it? It makes us nervous when we're a team that we don't really know how to take it. We don't know if we're good or if we're bad. We think we can be good, but we also could be bad. We don't know which direction to go with it. And then you have a game where every other game this year you've been a dog. You've not been favored in a single SEC game this year. And you're going on the road to their place, team that's 1-6, and you expect me not to be nervous about that? You expect me to just assume Arkansas is going to win? Anybody that just assumes Arkansas is going to walk in there and win against Mississippi State, you haven't been a Razorback fan. Either you've been a Razorback fan for way too long, or you just became a Razorback fan this year. Because of the recency, this is not a game that Arkansas just strolls in, takes care of business, and we're home for dinner. It's not that setup. So you better bet your bottom dollar that I'm nervous. I'm scared to death. I don't want to deal with the impact of a loss in this game. I don't. You don't. It's kind of fun being able to have hope and entertainment and enjoyment from a football season. It's kind of nice, isn't it? Hasn't been perfect this year, but it's kept us interested. I mean, shoot, going into that LSU game just a week ago, there was still a possibility that Arkansas could flirt around with the playoff if they really got it going, but LSU humbled them a little bit. That's a fact. But I enjoyed this feeling a lot more. A feeling of hope, feeling of excitement, and a feeling of maybe this could actually happen. But the second you lose to Mississippi State this weekend, all of that is gone, and it's never going to come back this year. You have to win this game. You have to. And I'm not going to believe it, and I'm not going to feel good about it until the final horn sounds and I see that Arkansas scored more points than Mississippi State. The point to all of this is I don't care how it goes. I don't care how it looks. I don't care who plays well and who doesn't. I don't care who turns the ball over and who doesn't. I don't care about any of that. I care about a win. We'll talk about it and break it down for sure. I just need a win. Whatever it takes, however it takes, go get the dub, Razorbacks. Win this game for all that is holy. I'm begging you from the bottom of my soul. Win this one. Please. I want to have fun for just a little longer. But something else that will be kind of fun. Razorback basketball against Kansas tonight. We'll talk about that. So stay with us here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. All right, Razorback fans, I got to tell you about Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink. It's the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after meetings and drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your next rough day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make Z-Biotics your first drink of the night, drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. I had some friends of mine try this, and they were shook by how incredible it worked. From one night where they go out, go hard in the paint, tore up from the floor up, and then the next day, they feel pretty good. They feel pretty good. And that's something that I can tell you, it's not something they feel often after going hard in the paint. So go to zbiotics.com/lockedoncollege to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use Locked On College at checkout. Z-Biotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund you your money. No questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/lockedoncollege and use the code LOCKEDONCollege at checkout for 15% off. We're also brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings. Prize Picks is the daily fantasy sports that is accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. All right? It makes it easy for you. It really makes it easy for you. Here's the thing, though. If you sign up today, you get instantly $50 when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday, where each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. Think Justin Jefferson will get more than 83.5 yards next week? Well, cook up some hot takes with your friends and get some real money this football season when you and your crew run the game on Prize Picks. It's the best way to earn real money this football season. So download the app today and use code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 off instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. Use promo code LOCKEDONCollege. You get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. And I can tell you this, it's a fun game for you and your friends, but you got to download the app today on Prize Picks using promo code LOCKEDONCollege. It's Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, so moving on into the next segment of the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. So some kind of cool things going on with Razorback basketball, because tonight, Arkansas and Kansas. Am I right? Hey, come on now. How can you not be excited about that? I know it's an exhibition game. I know it is. It's not going to count. But it is so cool that this is happening. It's the Cal Impact. And there's been some things that have come out about the particular game, if you want to call it that. And I'm glad that Cal Perry actually made it very known as to, hey, chilling out because some people were trying to make a big deal out of nothing because people were thinking like people paid money to go to this game. And there was some rumors about, they're not going to actually play a game. You're going to be a lot of people held out. It's just going to be a glorified drill deal. And you're like, why am I paying for this money? Well, Calipari came out on Twitter and said, let me provide some clarity about our Kansas exhibition game. This is a real exhibition game. Bill Self and I both talked about what our teams need, and we decided on quarters, which will provide more situational opportunities. We are looking forward to an incredible atmosphere in Bud Walton Arena tomorrow night. Can't wait to walk out of the home team's tunnel for the first time. Let's do this. So I'm excited about it. It's going to be a game that, again, only counts if Arkansas wins. Now, I'm joking about that, obviously, but it reminds me of last year when Arkansas beat Purdue. Isn't that crazy how much has changed since that moment, roughly a year ago, of Arkansas beating Purdue in an exhibition game and what I thought that meant. I thought that the season was going to blow up. I'm like, man, if this is the worst that this team is going to be right now, just wait, man. If they're already beating Purdue, just wait until they take care of business down the road. And I was so pumped up and excited for it. I really was. And obviously I didn't hold firm. But it's the way it goes sometimes. But here's the deal. I think that this is going to be the best thing that could happen to Arkansas. The best thing is just to see what they got. Kansas is the preseason number 1 team in the country. And I'm going to be honest for you, and I'm going to try to help y'all out. I expect Arkansas to lose this game to Kansas. Part of me even thinks that Arkansas gets whooped up pretty good. Now, we'll see, because it doesn't look like Hunter Dickinson's going to be playing this game for Kansas. Maybe some other things too. But overall, if I'm doing my predictions, I think Arkansas loses. But that's not a bad thing, and don't freak out about it if it does happen, folks. This is the type of game that you would want to have, where you can see where you measure up, where you can see what you got going on. The non-conference schedule this year is stupid good. I mean, you're going to be playing, this is not even a real game, but you also got an exhibition game against TCU. Then you got a real game against Baylor. You got a real game against Michigan. You got a real game against Illinois. You got a real game against Miami. Of course, none of those at Bud Walton, unfortunately. But this is going to be an incredible non-conference schedule. And my hope in all of this is that Arkansas will be a lot more prepared for the SEC slate that they're going to be facing, which they start on the road against Tennessee. Oh, gee. Like that, doesn't get any easier for them. But they start on the road for that. I believe that there are going to be a lot of games in this non-conference that Arkansas does not win. They may not look great at times, but I think it's going to prepare them for SEC play about as good as anything. And that's what they need. I'm going to be excited just to see John Calipari in his Razorback apparel for the first time in a real game. It's going to be weird. I'm excited to see the slobber hog on the court once again. It's going to feel good. I'm excited to see 20,000 people there at Bud Walton Arena, which I believe there will be. They got Camp Bud happening where students are camping out outside of Bud Walton Arena for this. There's so much going to be happening, so much energy, so much excitement. I'm excited for it. I can't wait for it. But just remember, folks, it's an exhibition game. It does not count. It's not the end of the world if Arkansas loses. Just relax. But if they win, then it's a big deal. I'm sure I won't make a big deal out of it. Promise. Scout's honor. We'll look around the SEC coming up next here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast, so stay with us. All right, folks, I got to tell you about our friends over at HomeField Apparel. We know that we love that slobber and hog, like I just mentioned. It looks so good being there on the court. You're like, man, wouldn't that look good on a T-shirt? Well, you won't have to worry about that anymore because HomeField Apparel has it going for you. They have all the vintage logos and all the really cool apparel that Arkansas once had before, or even some unique apparel items that have some old school logos, whether it's the hog running through the A, the hog leaning on the A, the slobbering hog, the hog with the little Navy hat, I think is what it's called. I don't know if that's actually what it's called, but it's an old school logo that Arkansas used to have. But they got it all over at HomeField Apparel. And the shirts are incredible, too. because not only are you getting those with those logos on it, but the quality of them, they're very comfortable. They fit perfectly, and they look awesome. So you got to check them out today at HomeFieldApparel.com. Use my promo code PIG24. That's PIG24. Use my promo code over there at HomeField Apparel. You'll get to see all the great stuff that they have for Razorback gear, vintage Razorback gear. It's all at HomeField Apparel. Also got to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel. And FanDuel.com, we know it's the number one sports book here in the United States of America. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out all the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page of where you actually place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's only at FanDuel. Arkansas 6.5-point favorites in this one. You feeling the Hogs? Go take them against Mississippi State. Maybe you're not. Go do that. But either way, win some money and go check it out today at FanDuel.com, America's number one sports book. Okay, so final segment here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Pretty good games going on. I actually love, here's the thing, I love an 11 a.m. game on the road if you're Arkansas. That's what I actually legitimately love. I don't like 11 a.m. games at home. Well, I guess it's like technically at 11:45, so maybe it's not as great. But I love having a game at 11 o'clock, 11:45 or whatever when it's on the road. That's the good stuff. That's what I like. But that's going to be one for Arkansas. The other games that are going on of note, Ole Miss is playing Oklahoma, and this one's in Oxford. Oklahoma sucks. They can't score. They don't know how to score, and they may have a decent defense, but they're favored by 20 in this game on FanDuel. So I'm taking Ole Miss, man. Ole Miss, I kind of hope that they do win so they can come into Arkansas, maybe feel themselves a little bit. Or, I don't know, like what if they lost and they're 1-3 in SEC play? They may start to just let go of the rope and be pissed because they were expected to have like the best year ever. So I don't know what I'd rather have, but it doesn't matter what I'd rather have. What matters is that I think Ole Miss is going to win this game and win this game going away. And then you have the 2:30 game, Alabama and Missouri, this game being played in Tuscaloosa. This is the toughest game that Missouri has by far this season. The toughest game, and it's not even close. They got smoked by, and well, I guess A&M was a really good team too, but you saw what happened. They got smoked. So Alabama's 17-point favorites in this one. That's a lot of points. I really hope Alabama wins because I still want to see Missouri get punished because of having the easiest schedule known to man. I still can't get over that. I still cannot believe that they got that, but they did. So I hope Alabama rolls. I just don't think 17 points. And Alabama, dude, if they lose this game to Missouri, I'm not saying Kalen DeBoer will get fired. But then again, I don't know because they got LSU in the next game on the road. And then they have Oklahoma and then Auburn, which they should beat Oklahoma and Auburn because both. But that Iron Bowl is always weird. But still, I really like Alabama in this one. The other one is Vanderbilt in Texas. This game being played in Nashville, dude. I know. I don't think Vanderbilt's going to win. I don't think Vanderbilt's going to win. But wouldn't that be the funniest thing ever if Vanderbilt beat Texas? This game's in Nashville. I know there'll probably be a record crowd for this game. Because Vanderbilt's top 25. They're 25th in the country. And they deserve it, man. I'm happy for them. I think the clock's going to strike midnight on this Cinderella story. I really do. But I really hope Vanderbilt wins. That would be the funniest thing ever. I mentioned before that I hope Texas wins every game because I want them to be undefeated when they play Arkansas. Well, since that's out the blue, I just want Texas to lose every game now. Man, I hope that happens. The interesting game is the battle of the two undefeateds in the SEC, and that's LSU and Texas A&M. This game being played there in College Station. It is a complete pick'em. Complete pick'em. And that's fair. I'll be honest. I don't know who to root for. I think I want LSU to win, maybe. Actually, I don't know. Dude, this one's tough. I think A&M's good, but I still don't think they're there. I think LSU's really hitting their stride. I think after beating Ole Miss, getting that confidence, and then taking care of business against Arkansas on the road, I think they're going to be totally ready for this game against A&M, and I think they're going to take care of business. I think it'll be a good game, but I think Nussmeier's too good, and I think they take care of business in that one. And then finally, the battle of the two teams that no one cares about right now at 6:45, Auburn and Kentucky. Gross. Kentucky's favored in this game by 2.5 points down there in Lexington. If Kentucky loses this game, Mark Stoops is going to get fired. But then again, his buyout's so massive. Maybe he doesn't. But jeez, man, they'll drop him to 1-5 in SEC play. But then if Auburn loses, they're 0-5 in SEC play. Significantly worse than what they were a year ago. Do you fire Hugh Freeze if they go 0-8? Yeah, and you know what? Actually, yes, you do. No coach can go 0-8, especially, I don't even say exceptional for year one, because I still don't like that. But I'll make this caveat. Besides year one, if any team, any coach goes 0-8 in SEC play, you should be fired. So if Hugh Freeze and Auburn, if they go 0-8 this year, if they lose to Kentucky this weekend, if they go 0-8, Hugh Freeze deserves to be fired. And they very well may, because their next games in the SEC, they play Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's pretty good. Then they play A&M and Bama. So if they don't beat Kentucky, it might be curtains for them. So we'll see. We'll see. But should be a great weekend of SEC play. Appreciate everybody listening in and watching into the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or on Google Play. You can also get after me on Twitter at John Neighbors Show for any questions, comments, concerns that you may have. We'll keep it going from there. Same podcast time, same podcast channel. Next Monday, have a great weekend, everybody, and we will see you then.